Well, and welcome to Ian Robinson's Cabinetry and Joinery. Lovely old job. We've got a lovely project for a really lovely couple. It's a retro kitchen. So it's a retro style kitchen, almost like a 50s style kitchen, modern hardware and what have you with it. So soft closed drawers, soft closed doors. It's going to be made out of birch ply and Formica. Now, you see the Formica sheets? We've decided on colours. The colours are going to be a graphite grey for the worktops, and that's going to be Formica worktop with the birch ply showing on the edge. So you're going to have all the edges showing all the birch ply. It's just going to be finished off really nicely on the edges with a tiny, like a V-groove right around all the edges. What we're going to do, we're going to use my vacuum press. The worktops are no longer than 2 meters long. It's a small kitchen, and so the first job that I've done so far is cut the tops ready. I've got to laminate a Formica to birch ply. The birch ply that I've decided we're going to go for a 30mm thick top. 30mm, in my opinion, for this retro style kitchen is spot on. It's going back to the 50s, so bearing in mind they didn't have very thick tops even then, because they don't do 30mm birch ply thick unless you get it pre-laminated. So what I'm going to do is basically use 24mm and 6mm on the bottom, and then basically this will go then on the top. So you've got a bottom face, a middle, and then the top. The temperature in here, I've got it up to about 20 degrees, and which is absolutely perfect for this particular glue that I use to do all my veneering, which is Preferee 4152. And there you go, that's what it is. And then you use a powder hardener to go with it. So that's the resin glue, and then you've got a powder hardener. Now it's a 2-to-1 mix ratio, and you've got to be pretty damn accurate with that, to be fair, because if you're not, then you can find that your glue does not cure properly, and your times will run a bit awry for curing times. Now I've got the fast one there, which will give me one top in the vacuum press, and that will take an hour to cure off. So I've got about 15-20 minutes to play with this and get it in that vacuum press. I'm going to use a roller to roll out the glue. I'm going to pour it in the middle, glue it out and get it on there, get the veneer top on, do the same thing, and that's probably the speediest and quickest way. But spreading that around, going one way and then going another, getting as much of that glue spread out onto the board as possible, as evenly as possible.
Check. The grills in my mouth double as a freeze one. The grills in my mouth double as a freeze one. The grills in my mouth double as a freeze one. The grills in my mouth double as a.
That's impressive. I've got to say, it really is impressive how these bags work. They come out so well. Just want to show you one. Now, obviously, this has got film over it, okay? So just to protect the Formica itself, but you can see there. You can see how nice that is, apart from my dusty fingers on it. But that's really nice. So that's going to come out really well. So we're going to put a very tiny edge on that, a very tiny V-groove. And of course, you've got the back of the door, which is all nice and clean. So that'll all be lacquered on the edge, all cleaned up on the edge, cut down to size. The last thing I've done tonight was finish the worktops, and they have come up beautifully. Oh, I'm just over the moon with them. 30mm ply, all laminated by thyself, and the Formica on top of that as well. And the Formica is just laid down absolutely beautifully. So the process I showed you right at the start, that works a treat. So let me show you. So there you go, there's the work surface, and that's all finished to a high standard of 240 grit. And that's this is the window side, so that is finished this end, and it's just got a nice small amount of chamfer on there, which is nice. And just to take the real sharpness off that corner, I've just chamfered that very slightly. And I think it needs it for these thicker tops. And obviously for the doors, we've done all the holes on the doors, as you can see. And for the drawers, we didn't do holes for the drawers, we done cutouts, because that would have interfered. Had I done holes in the drawers, that would have interfered with the nice beautiful boxes behind those drawer fronts. Well, next job, we are now going to set out my workshop bench, and we're going to put some sacrificial pieces on, because what we're going to do is use the rail saw. I use a rail saw rather than a huge, great big, panel saw. And that way, the rail saw does exactly what a panel saw does, really. It just takes a little bit longer to set up and cut your boards. So we're going to put two pieces of birch ply together, and we're going to rip through them two pieces straight away. Because these are inset doors and I'm having the edge showing, they need to be slightly deeper. So the depth for me is 590 millimeters from front to back of the cabinet. It's going to have a groove set into it, 70 mil in from the back, and that allows for pipes, cables, anything like that, to run through the back and to be cut out at the back if necessary. The height for these boxes are 730 millimeters high, with a 140 millimeter kickboard that's set in. And the kickboard is generally set in around about 50 mil from the front of the door. So whatever the door is, whether it's inset or outset or on the cabinet, it will be 50 mil back. What we're going to do first is cut all the boards to width, and then we're going to cut the boards to length, and they've got to all be nice and square and just so. That's the few sheets there ripped up to the correct depth, and now what I want to do is cut them to size. Okay, so from that I'm going to mark out the heights of the cabinets, and like I said before, the heights of the cabinets are 730 mil high, other than the two end panels. The two end panels that there are in this kitchen, they will be the full height from the top of the cabinet to the floor, so that will be 870 mil high. I've done all the cutting of the sheets, the sides, and all the tops and bottoms, and all the shelves at the bottom there. So now what we've got to do is basically we put the grooves in to hold the back boards. So there you go, so holding the back boards in. So we've done 6 mil on the spindle over here, which that's set up as to the height for the grooves. And now we are on biscuiting the joints for all the tops and bottoms to make the boxes. And this is how we make the boxes, basically. So what I'm doing now is using this connected to a hose and connected to my Hoover, and also got some headphones on. These are noise cancelling, fantastic for this in my opinion. I can't see why that they shouldn't be health and safety registered, really, because being noise cancelling, they cancel out all that horrible, nasty noise that really hits into your eardrums. I really don't get why they're not. I think the reason is because they can play music, and the music distracts you from the machines, so they say. Let's move on from that, because that's just divulging from the job in hand. The job in hand is getting these sides and tops and bottoms biscuited, so they've got a good joint, and the joint will be, with, like I said, with 15mm biscuits. The thing is with the Festool domino machine here, it is incredibly versatile, and you can basically make pretty much anything with it. I love making the carcasses with that machine. Absolutely brilliant. I tend to use a loose joint on the sides, and anyone that knows the Festool domino machine will know what it does. But I use loose joints on the sides, and I have this method of loose joints on the side, and for the tops and bottoms a tight joint, so you literally have to bang them into the joint, and that's how nice they are. So you've got a kind of a mortise and tenon joint basically, and they're the biscuits, and they're 30mm long by about 20mm wide. And what they tend to do, they go into the sides here. So I've done a few already just to show you. And like I said, these are the sides, and that's a loose joint, so I would not put the biscuit into the loose joint, but they go in. But what you do is you put these biscuits into the tight joint. So the tight joint for me, like I said, is the top and bottoms. So these would be hammered home into the top and bottoms, and then the top and bottoms go into the sides. That's how I produce my kitchen cabinets in the joint stage. And once they're jointed and they're put together, I then screw 3 screws in each side. So there's basically 12 screws. 12 screws in one whole cabinet. So, and then they're screwed in. So that way you can flat pack them. You can take them apart, flat pack them. All the sides will have the biscuits in. All the tops and bottoms will have the biscuits in. So then when you lay your sides down and you stack them, all your sides will be laid down and no biscuits will be protruding. All the biscuits will be on the end. So that makes sense, I think. I'm going to joint these now. Once I've jointed them, so all the sides will be jointed, all the tops and bottoms will be jointed, and then I will then move on to literally start fitting them together. Once I fit them together, well, actually I'm racing ahead there. Before I fit them together, I need to sand every single top and bottom and sides internally, forget the external, but internally sand them to a nice 240 grit sandpaper, so they're nice and smooth, ready for when you lacquer the internals. So if you do it now before you put them together, it just makes sense, because it's harder to sand a box that's already made than it is to sand a nice flat piece of wood that's on your bench ready to go. I'll turn the Hoover on to extract all the sawdust, and as you can see we're on the groove. So from the groove I start in, and what this has is prongs here, and those prongs hit into the groove, so therefore it can't move. So everything, all these joints, when I go to the tops, will line up beautifully with these sides. So, as these boards are generally, when they come to you, they are generally gritted, sanded for a big, massive industrial sander. They're generally sanded at 120 grit finish. However, depending on how long they've been laying around, they can get rougher. But we're going with straight on to 120 grit because these are nice and dry. They're quite nicely done anyway. They're finished nicely. So straight on to 240 grit sanding. Everything sanded up. So the next step now is to start putting together. Yeah, baby, yeah, but I am racing ahead just a little bit. I have got to do some little Craig joints, but I'll do them at the end. Right, so all cabinets, as you could see, were not put together. They were in flat pack form. I was doing the jointing, done the grooves, and now we put them all together and we've got the wall cabinet to put together. That's going to be the last cabinet to put together, to be honest, because that's a little bit more complicated, as in the fact that I can't put that together until I've got the doors ready for it, so I can incorporate the doors into the build. And that one will probably stay put together as a whole. All the others can flat pack. Depends on how I feel, what I can fit in the van, what I can't. You know, it's all dependent on all them scenarios. Anyway, we've got the base units all done, finished, and I'll show you them now. So there we are. So that's all the base units. We'll just go into a wider format. There we go. So there we go. So they're all the base units all done. Okay, so all the doors are chopped in. They've got a very tiny bevel on them just to finish them off, and also to take the sharpness away from the Formica as well, of course. It's taken off on the edges there as well, and they've just got to be sanded on the edges before lacquering front on the back as well. And now we've got onto the the wall unit, which is quite a sizable wall unit, and that's got to be made now. Now I've got to make these doors fit that cabinet, and these doors will slide behind this panel here, and that door will slide behind that panel as well. Kind of like a little retro kitchen. Hello, Dougal. Hello. Are you okay? Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? What are you doing in this dusty workshop, eh? Anyway, we're getting on. We're doing very, very well. It's all coming along very nicely. We're on to drawers now, as I said. So drawer sides. These are the drawer fronts and backs. They will go into this cabinet here. Basically, there's a format that I use for all drawers, and that format is basically I use 6mm bottoms and leave 12mm here for plenty of meat for the bottom, so there's plenty of strength in that bottom there. Also, when you put this onto the runner, or the drawer runner, it seats onto the drawer runner nicely. So when the bottom's in, that will basically be like that. So there'll be a nice gap underneath. so it runs beautifully on these soft close runners. So these are the sides, and we have the front and back. And what I'm going to do is, this customer is not concerned about having dovetail joints on this kitchen, so we still want to make it nice and strong. So what we do is, that's the front, and as you can see, it lines up very nicely with the groove, which it should do. So when you put your 6mm board in there and slide it in and screw it up into this board here, it'll be a nice strong joint. However, we will be doing biscuits, so domino biscuits in here. Nice strong domino biscuits, probably only 2 to be honest, and then glue, and that's as simple as that. Nice joint, good solid joint. Yeah, and dominoes are absolutely perfect for this job. Really strong and really robust. We've already started grooving and we've finished the grooves. These are the pan drawers, the wider ones, and these smaller ones, they are the top. That is the top drawer. Right guys, so just a little note on this. Now you can see we're putting this together now. This is the top drawer, front, back, either way it doesn't matter. Point being is, because I would normally have 12mm biscuits, so I haven't. So I've had to put 30mm biscuits in. I'm using 15mm stock. Now, as you can gather, 30mm is going to literally on, well, it will come through, won't it? So, best thing to do is to biscuit down 20mm on this side, on the fronts, and then biscuit down to 12mm on the sides, and that's what we've done. So we've got 12mm biscuited holes. So we'll glue these, and that'll be a nice solid drawer. Lovely old job. All right, so that's what we're doing. So just give that a dry fit. That's the other thing as well. If you're new to joinery or cabinetry or carpentry or anything like that, and you're really new to it, always dry fit first, because if anything's going to happen, it will show itself up when you dry fit, and that is as simple as that. So if anything needs a touch off or it needs planing slightly, you'll see that when you dry fit like that. Now that is not glued yet, it's rock solid. So those biscuits work really well, and of course when you put the bottom in and screw it to the front and back, that will give it solidity. The front of the drawer will literally go on like so, a bit like that really, and then that's it. Well, all done, all lacquered, all finished, and looking rather nice. So I'll leave these stickers on until I've completely finished fitting the kitchen, just so in case I need to take the doors off, I know exactly where they're going to go, as I've just marked them as sink door number 3, things like that, you see. Yeah, so all finished, all lacquered, very nice finish to it. Nice protection. Yeah, brilliant. Lovely job. There's the drawers. They look great, actually. They look really, really good. Quite like them. All birch ply. A couple of samples there for the customer, because I believe they may have a glass backsplash to go and buy, and that will be all part and parcel of it. Yeah, so all done, all looking good. We've got a nice sheen on it, but you can't see that sheen in here. Well, you can on top here, but yeah, nice, all done. Lovely job. And there's a corner cabinet. That's all done there as well. Very nice, very nice. Right, and so that's all ready for fitting on Monday. So here we are at the customer's house, and from the finalised kitchen fit, and they're all finished with it. So let's go and see them, see if they're happy. Hello, Ian.
How are you?
How are you? You all right?
Very well, thank you.
Awesome.
Come on.
Thank you.
Easy way through the little gap.
Hello, Simone. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Oh, good, good.
Come in.
Seems like 5 minutes ago that we last met.
This place is probably a bit different from when you last saw it.
Yes, that is amazing.
Like we have paint on the walls and
Wow, and the flooring.
floor.
Loving those chairs.
Yeah.
Wow, really nice.
They were bought to match that, which was
And that is really smart. I love that.
as a Facebook bargain.
Yes, brilliant.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you very much for giving me the chance to do you a lovely job.
No, we're absolutely chuffed with it.
Brilliant.
It's the sort of the centrepiece of
So,
the house.
are you finished with it now?
Yes, everything is done. Come and have a look. Come and have a look. We finally got the blind up, which was the thing that was the last job always takes the longest.
Yeah.
So the blind was not put up for about 3 weeks, but everything's up, blinds up, doors painted, floors down, everything is finished.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, it really
Wow.
is.
Yeah, colours are awesome, aren't they?
They are.
They really are. That has been a real pleasure to make this kitchen for you guys.
Well,
as a-
person does like her red. So.
That'd be you, Simone, yes?
It might be me. It might be me. I do like my red.
Yeah, I mean the red cabinet there, yeah, it's fantastic. And the birch ply looks fantastic as well, doesn't it? All on soft closed doors and soft closed runners.
Yep.
Have you had any issues with it?
No, not at all. I mean, the doors, the doors and the drawers are just absolutely lovely. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never had soft close before. So just being able to give it a shove in it, that's still magic to me.
Yeah.
Magic,
Witchcraft. So, yes. So you like the soft closed drawers.
Yeah, the drawers are lovely, the cupboards are lovely, the way they just sort of close themselves out, but it's just that everything is laid out in the right place. You know, I know we had to make some adjustments for plumbing, so we couldn't quite have everything where exactly we wanted it, but you know, you were able to work around the requirements of the piping, which was fabulous.
Thank you very much.
Yes, no.
Well, it's got to be right, hasn't it?
It has.
You know.
I mean, things like, you think now, the sink's not under the window because of the plumbing.
Yes.
And that was a plumbing issue, not a cabinet issue.
Yes.
And so forth. But in fact, that's really nice because you spend more time preparing the food.
Yes.
Because we've got the dishwasher in there.
Yeah.
So you tend to be looking out the window when you're doing most of the work. The washing up's incidental.
Yeah.
So that having the sink sort of there and not there, I think works really well.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it does as well because I mean, you like you say, you're prepping here.
Yeah.
You're like looking out the window. You're prepping. And the sink, quite frankly, is close enough to the window for light anyway. Yeah. You've got plenty of light in here. Yeah. And the pipes were there anyway, weren't they? So you just like colour though, don't you, Simone?
Like red.
Which I'm so glad you do though, because I love colour.
Yeah.
You know, being a photographer and what have you as well, on the side, it's all colour and rarely do I do it black and white. So it's and when you said red, I was going, oh yeah, lovely. Lovely.
You picked the perfect shade.
Lovely. Yes, well.
You gave us a selection of two. You could have one of these, but I would pick those.
Do you think that was
That was the correct choice.
Yeah.
I think all the black appliances worked.
Yes.
They sort of don't
Yes.
do too much
in your face?
fiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
We picked
Definitely.
up the chrome. So.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for
thank
choosing me as the cabinet maker for your project.
Thank you for building it. I mean, it's unique, obviously. Bye.